Hey there lovely cross stitchers. I'm Kat, I'm back with my second FlossTube video and I'm delighted that you all enjoyed the first video so much, and welcome to all my lovely new subscribers. I hope you'll enjoy being here and enjoy the FlossTubes as well as all the tips and tutorial videos that I put out as well. So since it all went so well, I thought I'd come back with some more, and today is just going to be a quick update on a couple of projects I've been working on, and then I just really want to dive into the topic of how many WIPs you should have, because I had a comment on my previous video about how many projects I choose to have, what mix of sizes, how I choose what to work on. So I thought it might be useful just to dive into that in a bit more detail and talk about how I choose all of that good stuff. So I'll get onto that topic in a little bit, but as I say, I've got a couple of updates for you first, and I've had quite a decent amount of stitchy time over the last couple of weeks since we last chatted. And I've really been focused in on my heaven and earth designs. So obviously I did show everything off in my WIP parade in the first video a couple of weeks ago. So if you want to see everything I'm working on, then go back and have a look at that. And you might remember from that my heaven and earth designs I'm working on was getting really close to being finished. So that's given me loads of motivation to really keep working on that one. So I've got it here to show you, and I've got it rolled up at the moment. This is basically how I work on it. I stitch it all in hand, and I have it rolled up. When I was working further on in the middle, I would have had it rolled up at this end as well, but now I'm so close to the end, and in fact I will show you, can you see that little corner, that tiny corner there, that little bit just there, that's all I've got left to stitch. So I'm on 99.75%. So I am so close. I should be finishing that. Honestly, I might just work really hard on it tomorrow and see if I can finish it. And when I'm done, I'm actually going to make a video just about how I stitched that, because yeah, that was the first one I'd stitched. It was a really big undertaking, and I'm pretty sure you guys might be interested in that. So let me know if you are, but you're going to get the video anyway, because it was so much fun to stitch on. So yeah, I'd love to dive into that a bit more in detail. So apart from my massive HAED, the other project that I've been working on mostly in the last couple of weeks is my stitch along, the Castle Homecoming stitch along from the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. So I thought I'd show you where I'm up to with that. And I thought I'd show you this time, this is the all the clues. So there's going to be 10 parts to this. We've currently stitched 1, 2 and 3. Well, I haven't quite finished 3. I'll show you where I'm up to. And this is being stitched on hand dyed fabric. It's 16 count Ada. This is Valor by Picture This Plus, and that's where I'm up to with the whole lot. And if I fold this down, I'll show you. The first bit that we stitched was right in the middle here. It was part 1 with the little knightess on her unicorn and the little herald. Part 2 was all the bridge, which was slightly less fun to stitch, but does look really nice now it's done. And part 3 also included this little wizard chap here who is absolutely adorable. Part 3 has been absolutely the nicest bit to stitch, and I'm almost finished. Part 3 is this little dragon and his little knight friend at the end here, and I mean, he is so cute. So I just got his tail left to do, and then that'll be me done with part 3, which is great because I have not finished part 1 and 2 before the next parts came out, and this time around I have just about finished that, and the part 4 is due out on Thursday, and I'm recording this on a Tuesday. Nearly forgot what day it was. So yeah, I reckon I can finish that part 3 in 2 days and be ready for the next part to come out. So that's absolutely fantastic. Okay, so that's my project updates, just a couple of quick ones for this time round. And as I say, I wanted to just talk a little bit about, can you have too many WIPs? Well, no, not really. You can definitely have too many WIPs for you, or probably too few WIPs for you, but it's personal preference. So the number you have is going to be entirely up to you and what you like to do. Now, I know some cross stitchers like to be completely monogamous, have one project that they work on and nothing else, and that's not really for me because I think I'd get a little bit too bored. And some cross stitchers like to have 30, 40, 70 WIPs. Again, not for me because I'd find that far too overwhelming. But like I say, it's all down to personal preference. So there are some reasons that I like to have a mix of WIPs on the go all at once. And the first of those is choice. It simply comes down to whatever I feel like stitching on that given day. I like to have a bit of variety, maybe different styles, different fabrics, so that I can pick whatever takes my fancy, and I'm not going to get too bored with a project or get burnt out on it. And sometimes it's quite fun if you haven't stitched on something for a while to come back to it and then rediscover that love of it. So yeah, variety and being able to choose what I feel like stitching on, that's probably the biggest reason I like to have multiple WIPs. The second reason is to have a mix of sizes. So you've already seen my enormous project, and that's been running for nearly 4 years. So if I never finished anything for 4 years, I think I'd get a bit disappointed. So it's really nice to have a mix of smaller, medium and bigger projects so that you can get those finishes along the way and just get that satisfaction of a finish. I'm not sure it's as satisfying as a start, but a finish is also really good. And the final reason that I like to have a mix of WIPs is so that I can have different difficulties, if you like. So I can choose if I want something that's really easy for me to stitch on or something that's a bit more complex. And that might be because the pattern's more complex, or maybe the fabric is a bit more difficult to work on, so maybe a higher count or dark fabrics or linen. So I can kind of choose what I'm feeling in terms of how hard I want my stitching session to be. Particularly perhaps towards the end of a day, if the light is not quite as good. I've got an LED daylight lamp, but it's still never as good as daylight. So depending on that, or if my eyes are a bit tired, I might want something that feels just a little bit easier to work on. And sometimes I want a bit of a challenge. So for that reason, it's really good to have different WIPs so I can mix it up a bit. So for me, I guess it's just all about having that flexibility and being able to choose different projects whenever I want to. Now, in terms of how many WIPs I have on the go at any one time, well, if you go back and watch my first FlossTube, you'll see how many I have at the moment. And I have, as you've seen earlier, just the one really huge project, that massive Heaven and Earth designs that I've been working on for nearly 4 years. Now, I wouldn't want to have more than one of those at any one time. I think I'd worry that maybe I wouldn't actually finish it if I had more than one of those. One is really enough. And then I like to have maybe 2 or 3 medium-sized projects, but I would have more, maybe 4 or 5 even, if there were lots of things that I really wanted to be working on at the same time. If there's a stitch along that I'm taking part in at the same time, I would definitely have a few more. And maybe 1 or 2 really small designs, usually my own ones, the patterns that I'm designing and test stitching to see how they're going to come out. I will usually have 1 or 2 of those on the go as well. And they're really useful because I like to have small projects that I can take out and about with me. Now, in terms of what I stitch when, you've probably gathered by now that I kind of pick up whatever takes my fancy. And I know a lot of cross stitchers have rotations for how they work on things, and if that works for you, then yeah, absolutely brilliant. I think I just like to be a little bit more freeform. I know that aspect of it would freak some people out, and some people need to have that bit more of a plan. I generally don't. I have stitched basically every day, try and put a few stitches in on my massive HAED project that I've been working on. And then other than that, as I say, it's kind of whatever takes my fancy. I am pretty lucky because I do get quite a lot of free time to stitch. I only work 3 days a week, and actually very soon I'm going down to 2 days a week. So that's going to be amazing. It'll give me more time to make hopefully more videos for you guys as well, which is exciting. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I can squeeze in a bit more stitchy time as well. But when I am in work, I do like to take a really small project with me, and I like to stitch in my lunch breaks and tea breaks. So that's where those small projects come in handy. So yeah, I don't really have a plan for what I stitch when. I know some people have rotations where they switch projects in and out, or specific days of the week that they like to stitch certain things on, and I've never really done that. Given how much I like to organise, you'd think I might enjoy that, and perhaps I would, it's just not something I've ever really done. The only thing I am going to try is that I'm going to designate a football project. So this is, as you might have guessed, for stitching when I'm watching the football. So my husband Tim actually works for Liverpool Football Club, so we do have to watch the Liverpool matches. I mean, I guess I don't, but I have a vested interest, so I do try and, as I say, watch them, but obviously I'm not watching really closely because I'm mostly stitching. Now, I thought that having a specific project to stitch whilst the football's on would be really good to have a project that I particularly want to focus on finishing, or something that maybe I'm not been loving as much and want to really kind of get back into. So I haven't decided yet. I've got two projects that I'm thinking of from the WIP parade that I showed you. One is the wildflower wreath that I started stitching and haven't touched for a good couple of years at least. So it might be nice to get back into that one. And the other one is the Christmas pattern that I'm stitching, the Christmas Friends by Doreen Jones, because I want to get that done for this year. I started it like 2 Christmases ago, so I really want that done for this year. So I think that would be a really good opportunity. So I will let you know how that goes. So that's how I choose how many WIPs to have and what to work on at any one time. So I hope that's been a little bit helpful, or at least interesting to hear. And if you have any questions, then just drop those in the comments for me and I will answer those for you. Now, I've also been asked if I would share some of my finished pieces, and which was really nice to hear, thank you. And yeah, I would love to share some with you. So I will definitely be making a video with finishes, maybe some from quite a long time ago, some maybe that are up on my wall, so I can do a little tour. We'll go and see what I've got hanging up, which is not as much as it should be. There's a lot of it that's in a box. But anyway, I will share some of these finishes. But like I said, I want to get to doing a video about my Heaven and Earth designs first. So I'm going to do a video all about that. And in between, I've got more tutorial and tip videos coming up for you. I've got some videos on the sewing method, if that's something you haven't come across. I've also got ones on washing and pressing your cross stitch. So of course, if you don't want to miss any of that good stuff, then I would be absolutely delighted if you would hit that subscribe button and give the video a like if you've enjoyed this. And thank you for sitting with me again and listening to me chat about cross stitch. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope it has for you as well. Have a lovely week and happy stitching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.